On Monday, April 19th, we have Mercury moving into Taurus. And if you're saying, that didn't seem like a very long time that Mercury was actually in Aries, you would be right. It's just over 2 weeks that Mercury actually spent in Arian energy. And the switch up is going to be very dramatic. So, as we discussed at the beginning of the month, we had that beautiful shift in our thinking, beautiful shift in quick decision making, in impulse reacting, to jump into new things, to make new decisions, and of course, have a brand new perspective. Now, Mercury, still ruling over the mental plane, over the way that we think, over the way we bring information in, and over the way that we communicate ourselves. Now Mercury is getting back down to Earth. So that Tauran energy, again, Earth energy, low, slow, logical, practical, solid, right? This is a grounding energy. We are definitely thinking from our physical experience instead of, maybe intuitively, maybe spiritually. We're definitely thinking about our physical environment, our physical control over our physical body and our environment. So common sense is going to trump all here. And kind of with the same pros and cons that we discussed with Venus moving into Taurus, we have to be very careful that we don't see ourselves in the shadow side of this Tauran energy, which is laziness, resistant to change. We don't want to get stuck in a rut. We don't want to put blinders on. But typically speaking, that's what we're up against. We are definitely more deliberate with what it is that we are speaking out loud, with what it is that we are sharing with other people. We are speaking with intention. We are speaking from a practical and logical standpoint. We are speaking words of worth and value. So, when Mercury was in Aries, it's kind of spitfire. Whatever came into the mental plane came out, and that did lead a couple of us into a little bit of trouble in our communication styles. Now with Mercury in Taurus, we are definitely orienting ourselves to our environment, to our physical senses. We want to stick to what is tried, tested, and true. Again, really relying on what works. We're not very adventurous in our thinking. We're not very adventurous in our communication skills. We just want to stay grounded. We want to stick to what common sense leads us to believe. We want to avoid being rigid in our thinking. We want to avoid being too conservative and missing out on certain opportunities. And we definitely want to avoid just tunnel vision, right? We got so much energy and excitement built up with this Aryan energy. And then to make such a dramatic shift into this Earth energy, we still do need to add a little bit of, fuel to the fire, if you will. We're still very much in Aries season, and we are being encouraged by that sun in Aries to get out in the world, to make changes, to experiment, but not in our thinking, not with now Mercury moving into Taurus. We tend to kind of retreat a little bit from wanting to experiment, from wanting to dive into new and exciting thoughts, and kind of stick to the old, the traditional, what is safe and what is stable. We just want to pay attention to one thing at a time, which is going to be a refreshing energy. When Mercury was in Aries, we were scatterbrained. We were all over the place. We had a million windows and tabs opened up in our brain. So this is going to be a semi-welcome change in the fact that now we're able to take one thing at a time, to think it through, to process it, to integrate it, to speak our truth before moving on to the next thing.